to the Island Contracting Nightly Sports Call right here on the Bordas and Bordas Hotline. Bob Pompeani with you till 11 o'clock. Give us a call. Anything with regard to Pittsburgh sports is acceptable. Also want to give a little shout out to It's About the Warriors Foundation. It's IATWF. You should support it. They do great work with local military veterans. And really, I want to emphasize the word local military veterans. That's where money goes. It stays right here if you support their organization. And they also have a hockey team that they started. It's called the Pittsburgh War Dogs. They have 65 guys on the roster. They went down to Washington, D.C. this weekend and won a tournament. And these are all veterans from all over in these, in their cities that play in this. And they all have a passion for hockey. They have a passion for this country. And the local Pittsburgh War Dogs won that event as they beat Tampa Bay, Washington, and a team from Rochester, New York. So now they're going to play in the national championships March, and there are 37 teams involved in that. So congratulations. It's About the Warriors Foundation, a tremendous foundation. You should support them if you have an opportunity. Meantime, let's go to the lines. Mike in Bethel Park, you're first up tonight. Mike, what's up?
Yeah, hey, Paul. Just Richie's doing a good job with Pirate coverage in Bradenton, but just comments this week. Tuesday, Clint Hurdle was watching him. He's saying that too many teams over-evaluate their talent, which means they overpay their talent, and the Pirates don't do that. I take that as code word for being cheap. And then on Thursday, on the Post-Gazette in the front cover, he says we're in this thing to win a world championship. I'm having a tough time digesting those two things. I'd like to see a little bit more reality and have him say we'd like to win maybe 85 or 86 games would be a nice season, not going all the ways to the World Series and then kind of blasting other teams for spending money on talent that you have to pay good money to get good talent. The Pirates aren't willing to do that. And he's, basically, I don't know, I thought it was an excuse, Bob.
Yeah, it may very well be. I mean, they're not going to tell you that they're not going to be competitive and not going to make the playoffs. So, I understand it. But I also think it's a little bit ambitious to say you're hoping you can win a world championship this year with this team as constructed. Hey, listen, they have a good young pitching staff, but they have too many holes to make that. And they need, at their payroll of less than $70 million right now, there are guys out there who can help right now. I realize they have guys who are going to be eligible for arbitration and potentially free agency starting next year. So, though, if you want to save money, but there's no limit to what you can do. In baseball, no cap, no floor, spend. And you don't have to go crazy. I'm not talking about 8-year deals guaranteed, because I do think those are becoming a thing of the past, which is why Machado and Harper may be in the situations they're in right now, because I think owners are smart enough to know, first off, in the past, they gave those big contracts to people and they were paying for past performance. They don't want to waste money on the future on past performance. Yes, you earn it, but you don't want to get that much money because there's a lot of money that kills you at the end of those contracts. And I think Bryce Harper made a mistake. He was offered $300 million by Washington at the end of the season. He turned it down in an effort to get more. Okay, when does greed set in for those kind of guys? You can complain about the system all you want, but remember, you turned down $300 million. Having said that, the Pirates can certainly afford a 3-year deal for whatever, 10, 11 million a year for some very good player just to help their cause right now. They're going to go in with questions at third, questions at shortstop at this point, because we don't know for sure. It could turn into exclamation points. I mean, Kevin Newman may be very good. Eric Gonzalez may be very good. Adam Frazier, I don't know about all year at second base. We'll see. Can Bell respond at first base after only 12 home runs last year? Who's going to be their catcher? Will they trade Cervelli and an outfield without Polanco to start the season? There are more questions there. The pitching staff's very good. I like it potentially, but they need more help. So, yes, I would suggest go out and get some. Let's go out to John in Canonsburg. Hey, John, how are you?
Hi, good. I listen to the show every week. Love the show, Paul.
Thank you. Appreciate you calling.
I have a question about the Penguins.
Okay.
Do they keep a record on the day games, day games, how many wins and losses?
Yeah, they do. I don't have it in front of me, but I know they do.
Wait, is there a way you can find out?
I mean, I can find out, but I can't do it right now, though.
Right.
But, what your point is being what? That they do better or worse?
It seems like to me, it seems like they got more losses during the day games than winning, because it doesn't seem like they're up for these games.
Okay, I'd have to check, but, I do see sometimes slow starts happen. And I give the Penguins credit today because the Rangers were the team that were in town yesterday. They were off. They were ready and they're a younger team, and yet the Penguins were the one who had more hops after playing yesterday in a really tough game against Calgary. So that bode well, I thought.
Yeah, but I mean, it just seems anytime they play during the week, or the day games, they don't play that good, or
Well,
they lose.
I don't know that for sure. I'd have to
Victoria.
check for you, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, thanks, John. Appreciate it. 412-575-2600. We got David in Connellsville. David, welcome to the Sports Call. Go right ahead.
My first time calling.
Thank
Do you
you.
think Pittsburgh going to the shortstop? Thank you for my call.
Okay, I think you asked if Pittsburgh will go out and get a shortstop. You know, they chose not to sign Jordy Mercer, who ended up getting a one-year deal, I think, for only $3 million from Detroit. But they felt like Kevin Newman's time had come, and they also acquired Eric Gonzalez from Cleveland, 27-year-old shortstop who has been, quote, blocked from playing, and that's true because they've had some talent in Cleveland, but he's been there, and now this is going to be an opportunity for him. We'll see what he can do. They obviously have done their work on him, and they believe he can be a contributor here. But, again, these are all questions that I don't know. I mean, you can speculate that all these guys are going to be good, but you can also look at it and how many guys have come up and struggled. And I think that's something to certainly keep in mind. Let's go to Pete in Squirrel Hill. What's up, Pete?
Big Bob, how are you tonight,
I'm
my friend?
doing good. What's going on?
Real quick, Bob, Oakland A's, lowest payroll in baseball last year, went to the playoffs. Who do you think is going to have a better record this year, the A's or the Pirates? Thank you very much.
Well, you know, I don't know. I would hope that the Pirates would, but and I'm not all that familiar with Oakland's team right now, just because I haven't studied their roster and what they've done in the offseason so much. So, you know, you don't have to spend a whole bunch of money to be good, but I also think it enhances your chances. And I always want to be in a position where I had better chances because I've spent a little money. You know, if you really want to win, I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't want to win if you're here and if you're Bob Nutting, and if that means putting more money into the product to try to make that happen. Listen, they have a concern because they've lost 1 million fans from 3 years ago when they had, I believe, it was 2.4 million to where they are last year, 1.4 million. That's a lot of losses of people going to the game. They'd like to change that. They believe this team has what it takes. They say, you know, Clint Hurdle's not been shy about saying, I have a special feeling about this team. We'll see. I mean, all I know is their pitching's good. And pitching will keep you in a lot of games, but you still need to score some runs to make that pitching viable. All right, back to the lines we go. It's Dave in Chippewa. Hey, Dave, how are you?
Not bad. My question is, with Mr. Rooney going down to see Antonio Brown, was there ever any results from that meeting?
I don't think they've met yet. I think, you know, Art has a place down there, so it's not unusual for him to go there. So reportedly they're going to meet, I don't know when, supposedly this week, but no. What would you expect the result to be of that meeting?
Well, I'm kind of disappointed that Mr. Rooney had to go all the way down there instead of Brown coming to see the Steelers.
Well, absolutely. I mean, he hasn't even returned a phone call. He talks about, oh, I'm going to do it now for respect. You haven't shown any respect whatsoever in the last 2 months.
Well, I'm sorry. I find it kind of disrespectful. But
well, I think they have to figure out.
I'm kind of curious what the results from this will be.
Well, it's one of two things. Either he's going to go down there and say, hey, we didn't like what's going on. I'd like to hear your point of view here, but we're moving on from you, just so you know. But the problem with that is I don't think the Steelers are an organization that likes having someone bully them into a deal. He has still 3 years left on the contract. The Steelers typically are not going to cave to some guy who decides he's going to make this an issue the way Antonio Brown has. But the danger is if they feel that this could be worked out, which would take a lot of work, who's to say it won't happen again throughout the course of 2019 season?
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate the call. All right, let's go out to line 2. That's Doug in Johnstown. What's up, Doug? How are you?
Hey, great show, Bob.
Thank you for calling, Doug. Appreciate it.
Hey, I want to change the subject. I want to talk about racing.
Okay.
You see the Daytona 500 today?
I didn't see all of it. I saw bits and pieces of it.
Did you ever see a race?
In person?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you have?
Not many, but I have had through Chip Ganassi.
Okay.
But yeah, I haven't seen a lot. Quite frankly, I don't think it's something. Your call may be the first in about 6 months that we've had on NASCAR.
Well, here's one for you. You know, every racetrack has 2 finish lines.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever know that?
No.
Could you figure that one out?
All right, Doug. Have a good night. We'll take a break. 412-575-2600 is the number to call. We'll talk. Whatever you want to talk about, but if it's NASCAR, be prepared for not much of an answer. I haven't followed it all that much. And actually, I saw an article that indicated that they've lost half of their viewing audience on television, which is pretty startling if you're one of those fans. We'll take a break, come back with more right here on the Island Contracting Nightly Sports Hall, Pittsburgh CW.